Hello, spoiler. Okay, this week we're going to talk about the Red Scare and McCarthyism. So last week we talked about a little bit of like intro to what the Cold War was. Um, we have World War II ending. Japan's kind of falling apart, so the United States steps in to help rebuild them. Germany is split up into into two countries. Um, People are terrified that communism is going to spread. We're trying to contain it. We have the Korean War, the Vietnam War, all of this stuff. So that was more on a world scale. Let's talk more about on the American side. Um, so today you're gonna have Red Scare, and then I think there's another video. Yeah, yeah, it's just a YouTube video. Um, and then Wednesday I'm gonna send you. This week has a lot of videos. Okay. You don't have to watch them all. What you do need to watch for sure is the notes. But I'm sending you other videos too because I think they add some background. They help to explain things, and they're like fun, easy videos. There's like a Mr. Betts one. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, but whatever. So make sure you watch the notes. You don't really have to watch the other ones, but they're helpful. So please. Um, and then you have a quiz this week. I believe that's it. I don't think this class has a worksheet too. Okay, so let's jump into Red Scare first. So first, it's called the Red Scare because um, communism is associated with the color red. So okay, so the first Red Scare happened right after World War One. So if you think back to when you covered this in ninth grade, end of World War One, the Russian Revolution starts. That's why Russia pulled out of World War One was because of their own revolution. We have, Tsar Nicholas and his kids. He's abdicated from the throne. Lenin steps up, and you go back and forth. All of that. There was a new government. When that happened and World War One ended, news spreads slowly throughout the country, and people are starting to get a little scared. Like, what is this new government going to look like? What's it going to do in terms of like us on a world scale? Um, so that was scary. That was going on. When the war ended, people came home to the United States. There was a small group of radicals that supported communism after they came home because when they came home, they were like, okay, I'm home. I need a job. I need a house. I need food, but I don't have any money because I was in the war, and um, these resources weren't like they couldn't just give them all the resources they needed. So people kind of looked to communism to be like, wow, look at that. Their government is giving them everything they need. That's a pretty good idea. Um, I want to do that. So with this small group, it started a fear. People really were afraid of an uprising like there was in Russia, where the people, rose up and the king and his family were killed and all of that. Because of this fear, hundreds of Russians were deported from the United States, sent back to Russia. This herd mentality of fear started to form. Um, you know, if your parents are terrified of this looming unknown political system, and they tell you, and you're going to tell your friends, who are going to tell their parents, who their parents are going to tell their friends, and it just goes on and on and on. And false information spreads really easily. It's just this mass fear kind of rises up, and fear is dangerous. Fear is dangerous. So this is Uncle Sam on the boat of the United States coming towards the iceberg, the red iceberg of communism. So Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, North Korea, East Germany, China, these are all communist favored countries, more so after World War II. But it looks like the United States is coming towards it. And you can see this up here. Well, what you can't see is all, icebergs. You just see a little bit at the top, but like it's huge under the water. That's what we're getting at. We're coming at this communist iceberg, only seeing this top part, and we're missing all of the scary bottom stuff. So, labor. This guy represents the workforce, the labor force. We're moving down through strikes and walkouts, disorder, riots, Bolshevism, murders. Bolshevism is like a political party of the revolution in Russia. Chaos into who knows what. So, kind of with both of these, there's this element of the unknown. So, to them, they're saying communist might sound good on the outside, but we don't know what's going to be long term or on the inside. So, we got to be careful. We can't just jump into this new economic and political system because it sounds good to us now. So, moving into the second Red Scare. The first one was post World War I, second Red Scare is post World War II. So, but with this one, it targeted more so government officials and important people. There was a huge fear that government officials were communists, and that if the communists had infiltrated the government, what would that do to our government? By the end of the 1950s, after the Korean War, we're like fully into the Vietnam War. It kind of eased off, tension kind of settled, but before that, it was hardcore, especially throughout the 50s. So anyone suspicious could just be labeled as a communist. Even J. Edgar Hoover, he was the guy that founded the FBI. He labeled Martin Luther King as a communist for his work in the civil rights movement. Anybody that had crazy radical beliefs or um, seemed to be going against the government or did not support nuclear advancement could just be labeled as a communist. Anybody that just was an outsider. Communist was just kind of, I don't know, it was just a classification of you're not like me. It eventually got to the point where it was like a label, a negative label to have put on you, even if you didn't actually identify as a communist. So this guy, we're gonna talk about him. You're gonna get his note video on Wednesday. This is Joseph McCarthy. He's a fun guy. He did a lot of damage to the United States, damage that we can still feel today. Just another America under communism. Does this look like a happy time? No. We got flames in the back. People are fighting each other and beating each other up. So just saying again, communism, not a good idea. Okay, this is the last slide for this set of notes, but this just blows my mind. So, as the Red Scare grew and grew stronger, so Truman is the president, right? Remember, Truman is the guy that made the decision to drop the atomic bomb. Um, Truman issued an executive order subjecting all federal employees to be analyzed for loyalty to the government. So, like I said, that this Red Scare focused more so on government officials and the fear that some government officials might be part of this communist movement in the United States. So, Truman made it okay and required that government officials be tested to determine their loyalty to the United States in hopes that they could possibly catch someone being a communist. So I'll take a second and pause here and just reflect on the craziness that is this. Um, like I said, fear mentality, fear is dangerous. Fear makes people do things like this. Okay, and Truman is the president, so scary. I would love, I would love to get your reactions to this. I wish we were in school because I bet this would be like a whole class. You know, sometimes in class we get through 2 slides. This would be one of those slides. So think about this. If you have strong opinions, feel free to email me. I would love to hear your opinions about this. Okay, so we're gonna stop here because next we're gonna get into Joseph McCarthy, who he is, and what he did to the United States. So don't forget about the quiz and to watch all the videos I sent you because they're good. I promise. Okay. Have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions. Don't forget our Zoom. They're very fun, I promise.